So, Fastbond isn't even that good. Okay, joking aside, I do legitimately believe that Fastbond is overrated. Feel free to lambast me in the comments, the interaction would be good for the channel, but I would appreciate if you'd at least hear me out. Fastbond is an enchantment that costs a single green mana, and while it is in play, you can play as many lands per turn as you want, but you will take a damage for each land you play, other than the first land you play each turn. So, right off the bat, that reads pretty damn powerful. And it is. Fastbond is undeniably a strong card that breaks the fundamental rules of the game. When combined with the right cards, Fastbond is extremely oppressive and is capable of catapulting someone into a dominant position very early into the game. I still think it's overrated for a few reasons. Fastbond is powerful, but its power comes at a cost. And no, I'm not talking about the damage it deals to you. Life is a resource, and nobody cares about the damage it does to you. Fastbond doesn't accelerate you. Fastbond allows you to accelerate by playing lands. I know that doesn't sound like much of a distinction, but it does mean that you're required to have lands for Fastbond to be good. And I hear you thinking, no shit, and also it's fucking Magic. Every card requires you to have lands, which is true. But I mean, other broken accelerators are usually mana rocks, like Black Lotus or Mana Crypt. For Fastbond to be good, you need to have access to it early. You need to have access to enough lands to make it useful. You need to have the win condition or a method of controlling your opponent until you get that win condition, or at the very least you need some form of card advantage. That's a lot to ask. There are win conditions out there that cost 3 mana and 2 cards. Thassa's Oracle and Demonic Constellation is probably the most compact and efficient way to win a game, if those cards are legal. But even Black Lotus with Channel and Fireball and a red source is an easier way to win the game than Fastbond. So yeah, Fastbond is a strong and efficient card that breaks a very important game rule, and if you're playing fair Magic, it's definitely a strong card. But when you compare it to other strong cards, it falls remarkably flat. I don't follow Vintage too much, but I don't think anyone even plays Fastbond in Vintage. At the very least, it wasn't in any of the lists I checked out. It's also not limited in Vintage. You could play 4 copies of it if you wanted. It is banned in Commander, and unless they plan on reprinting it, it should probably stay that way, but I don't think this card ruins Commander either. That ban list has a ton of stupid cards on it that aren't good. Hell, this doesn't even have any points associated with it for Canadian Highlander. My point here is that Fastbond requires more pieces than most other broken cards because you still have to hardcast whatever you're doing, or like what the fuck even was the point? You still need all the lands you plan on playing, and unless your opening hand is Fastbond, 5 lands and a Wheel of Fortune or Time Twister, it's just not going to be all that strong. It's a high variance power card, more so than any other power card I can think of. And this last point here is a small issue compared to everything else we've discussed, but it is kind of awkward to have multiple copies of it. Most cards will give you some advantage for casting the second copy of the card, but if you cast 2 Fastbond, then you just take more damage for doing the same thing. To be fair, this isn't a big deal on its own. You can just be like, well, don't cast the second Fastbond. But if your game plan includes Fastbond, you want to draw Fastbond early, which means you need multiple copies. But if you have multiple copies and you draw another one, it adds more pressure on your already strained resources. Any card in your hand that's a Fastbond, and you already have a Fastbond out, well, that card isn't a land, or a way to draw more cards, or a way to win the game. And that can become a really annoying issue. Feel free to fight me about this in the comments, but I really don't think Fastbond is that strong, but I do think it is a pretty cool card. Fastbond also has not seen much in the way of reprints. It was printed from Alpha to Revised, or Summer Magic if you want to be pedantic, and hasn't seen a reprint since, as it's on the reserved list. The art was done by Mark Poole, and Poole is one of my favorite artists. I like his work a lot. But despite not really being reprinted a whole lot, Mark Poole's work isn't the only illustration for Fastbond. Magic Online has 2 printings, and the Vintage Masters printing uses a newer frame and an exclusive art piece done by Niles Ham. The art has a very similar vibe and is very beautiful. I personally prefer the classic version, but this piece is fantastic as well. Truly a wonderful piece of art. But that's really all I have to say about the issue. So, if you enjoyed the video, a like would make me happy. You can subscribe if you give a shit, but either way, hope you have a magical day.